We got our file setup, or excuse me, our folder setup. We just talked really briefly about Gmail and about YouTube. And again, we'll go in greater depth with that as you work through this, as you get some practice with it. There's nothing worse than having somebody just talk at you the whole time. But this is a good introduction to some stuff. I'm going to kill this video for now, and I'm going to open Camtasia so you can look at how the software works. Okay. After that, I'll point you in the direction of some resources that are available for you so that those of you that like to really dial it in, if you'd like to take it to that next step, there's some great resources out there for you to play with. Okay, so I'm going to say goodbye for a second, and I'll meet you back in the software. All right, the Camtasia software. See you soon. All right, so we finished up the little intro in terms of the web-based resources that are going to be available to you. Now let's talk about the actual software that's on your machine. Excuse me, which is going to be Camtasia Studio. Now mine is clearly already open because I'm using it. Let me show you what the interface looks like. This has already imported the media which I just created for you. I will tell you that making this video has been the craziest exercise I've ever been through mentally, as far as trying to keep time. I don't know if you've ever seen Memento the movie, but it's like running your life backwards, trying to figure out what goes where. It's very strange. Anyway, sorry. I don't know. So I keep Camtasia here. You can also make a shortcut for it, just wherever it's convenient. Just move it around your machine as needs be. All right, so let's go back to the interface. The most important button now that we're going to play with, and we're going to do this in class, hopefully on the very first day. Hopefully you've already done it, really, but definitely on Monday, no doubt about it, is this record the screen button. When you hit the record the screen button, it drops that screen out of there, so whatever you're recording, it's going to make that go away, which is nice. Now, notice I am recording already, and that's what it tells me right here as I float it over this little icon down here on my toolbar. When I open this, I end up with this bar that's going to look a little different than the bar that actually opens up when you hit that button. And I'm going to walk you through that in class in terms of how to use that. Right now, because I'm recording, like I said, it looks a little different from what you're going to see initially when you hit that button, but don't panic. One thing that's really important in this is look at my audio. It tells me my audio level. It also tells me that my audio is working, which is a good thing. A lot of this is the same as what you'll see when you first click on this bad boy right here. All right, and again, in class, I'll show you how to do all that in terms of what you're going to see and how to kind of dial it in to make it work well for you. Okay, so let's get back to this. There's a little piece of this that there's an interface that you're going to do with this software after you have stopped recording, which is what I did in between what we're doing right now with Camtasia and when we talked about YouTube and Gmail. And that little sliver is unrecordable using Camtasia because it's trying to record the recording of the thing that you want. It's crazy. It's like the digital equivalent of standing in between two mirrors and having that thing stretch out ad infinitum. So I apologize for that, but we will see that as soon as you start playing around with the software, and we'll work on all that together. I want to show you what I've done here. First things first, notice that this piece right here is a cam rec. That is the piece of media that I created as I was recording what you already watched. That's the cam recording. But then as soon as I stop that recording, it gets stored here in this interface as a camera recording. Think of it that way. And then what I did is I saved it. I went to File, and I went to Save Project As, and I saved it as the intro project, which is now a cam proj. So there's recording, cam rec, and cam proj. The cam proj is what's going to be uploaded to the internet, to YouTube, as soon as we're done with all this business. Okay, so I want to show you what that looks like in your folder. So if I open up my folder, notice here's the intro part 1, which I named it, right? And then there's the intro project right here. Now, this one project is going to be what we upload the recordings or the individual little slices of media that I create to make the one big project. A lot of people like to throw these guys into one folder. I usually do it when, like you saw before in the previous little segment, I'll do it for a chapter and then store all my things in there. Some people are considerably more anal than I am, and they'll do it for maybe each lesson, and then you'll just have a bunch of subfolders that you can work from. So let's go back to Camtasia here, and let's play just a little bit. We're not going to get into the finer things about how Camtasia works. Like I said, I'm going to point you in the direction of a website that'll have tutorials for you, for those of you guys that like to jump down the wormhole, as it were, and figure out how these things work, really dial them in and get advanced with it. But again, this is just an introduction to how to do this. Excuse me. First things first is when this interface is what you're looking at when you first say that you want to save your video. Okay, you've got a scrubber right here, and I want you to notice a couple of things. Notice that this scrubber right here and this scrubber right here work together. They're working together the entire time. And this is the presentation that I just did. If I want to check out a specific slice and I want to hear it, let's see if I can do my, this is what you will upload to the internet. Also notice what I did. Yikes. Okay, so this is just the scrubber watcher up here. And down here is the editor. Again, we're not going to get crazy with the editing in this video. We're just trying to get you familiar with what Camtasia Studio looks like and how it works. All right. Now, one real, just again, roadblocks, little irritations that get in your way of feeling comfortable using a piece of software. They pop up all over the place, and that's what this video is designed to assuage, to ameliorate just a little bit. A couple of things to start with, just to get you comfy, and you can play and do whatever you want. You create videos and delete them just to get comfortable, and that there is a learning curve with all of this. But a couple of things that are going to make your life easier is the following. Notice this little looking glass right here. If I want to zoom in on a very, very small piece, notice that there's a timeline above this, which right now, I mean, look at that, that's 52:15, that's 53, so you can tick these off by the seconds as you cruise through this. But that becomes really important when you start splitting, when you start splicing slices of media together, and you want to get them at, particularly with the sound, so that you don't add it right in the middle of a sentence, or worse still, right in the middle of a word. And I can zoom way in on this. I mean, look at how small that is. And watch when I hit play. Watch the size of the clip. And oh, it's moving. I can also zoom way out. All right, now I believe this, let's see, this right here is the default setting. So when you import that piece of media, it gives you the entire length of the media that you created right in front of you. But there's a pain in the butt. Wherever this scrubber is right here, if I create like this video that I'm making right now, when I save it as part of this project, it'll stick it right where that scrubber is. The scrubber's in the front, it'll stick it in front. If the scrubber's at the end, which is where you want it, if you're making subsequent pieces of media, then that's where I want it to be. Now, I like to zoom this thing back a little bit. This is, again, preferential for me, but I like it so I see this little blank space here. It tells me that I'm at the end of my video, and then I'm all good. I can still see the beginning of my video because I got the zeros sitting right there. Just the little things like that. Let me show you another little trick. As you start editing, which we'll focus on in class, because I'm creating a video right now that's going to be longer than 15 minutes. So I'm going to have to show you how to splice it so that we can upload it to the video to make, I'm going to turn one project, this intro project Camproj, or excuse me, Camproj, into two so I can upload it to YouTube, because I want to keep them under 15 minutes. Okay, sorry, allow me to get back on task. Sometimes you'll be editing, and look at this. So I've got a left side and a right side, a green side and a red side, and all of a sudden you realize, wait, I don't want to do that. What I've done is I've highlighted this piece that I'm going to do some editing on. And you may say, wait, I need this thing to be back together because I got to get to a different place. Maybe you weren't, a kid came in and you lost focus or whatever. It happens all the time. If you want to put the thing back together, just double click. And there you are. And now I can scrub. Now watch what happens if you don't do that. If I grab this little gray guy right here, now look, I'm panning around, but these guys are stuck together. Oh no, how am I going to put it back together? Well, put it somewhere, double click, and that's where you end up. Okay? So it's just a couple little tricks just to get you started. We'll get into the more nuanced stuff with editing in a little bit, but I want to get you familiar with the software before we get too crazy. Okay, so that's the end of this second little segment. So we're gonna, in the next segment, we'll be reviewing kind of what we did here and how to edit it and really get started kind of getting our hands dirty. All right. Oh, I do want to show you one more thing before I end this guy. Look here. Sometimes people will freak out. It's like, wait, where's this audio 1, audio 2 coming from? Well, the audio 1 is the input from my microphone, and the audio 2 is an input from another source. So you can probably tell just by looking at this. Watch, when I hit play, I am going to talk to you both on the microphone and from the source on the computer. So watch. Part 3, so I probably should have clicked on part 1, right? Just to figure out what I'm doing. I start talking.
Let's take our time.
It looks as though I'm doing a little. All right, so don't freak out if you see multiple audio things going on, and we're not even going to worry about things like locking out audio between video 1 and the 2 audio tracks. So don't sweat things like that. Again, simple, introductory. Let's get you guys comfortable. All right, and reduce that level of disequilibrium. I'll see you guys back here in just a little bit, and we'll start playing around with some of the more general editing functions. See you soon.